Boys, welcome back to what I would assume is the finale of everything going on with the Cinder VTuber drama. We had the original 5 documents that were dropped yesterday. We had another post of Silvervale from earlier today. And now we have Cinder's apology, that's what she quoted it as of 1 minute ago. I wanted to get up to date on this immediately. This was just posted. We are reacting live on YouTube. So let's get into it, huh? We're going to read everything. We're going to analyze everything. And I will give you guys a TLDR at the end of this video, as well as a Twitter post. But I encourage you guys to not hear my TLDR and accept it as face value. These are people's lives. Listen, there's Cinder's side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. The only thing that matters is your opinion. So formulate your own opinions. I will merely be here to weigh in on my thoughts, obviously, from a side of I like everybody involved in this drama. I like Silvervale. I like Cotton. I like Bao. I like fucking, my brain is fried, by the way. I like Cinder, you know? I like everybody here. So I'm just going to try to be as unbiased as possible and weigh in whenever I can. And let's just talk the facts. Here we go. There's nothing I can say to make this better, but I will try my best to properly convey my feelings, frustrations, and my mistakes. I'd like to explain my point of view and apologize to each party affected. Redacted has been my co-content creator since I began making content, managing all aspects of what I do, and being a major part of why I'm here. We have also been in a relationship since the start of my endeavors. This was very obvious. It looks like Cinder will confirm that Redacted was their boyfriend. Everybody saw this coming. No one's shocked. Wow, man, a VTuber manager that you live with. Oh, it's your boyfriend? Oh my God. It's no secret that many VTubers choose to keep their public and personal lives separate, and I'm no different. And I want to make this very clear. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, as a guy who was in a relationship in the public eye, that shit sucked mondo ass. That shit was fucking terrible. Having every aspect of your life be scrutinized underneath a magnifying glass, it was fucking miserable. I don't blame Cinder for doing this whatsoever. It's blatantly obvious to anybody who knows how this shit works. And honestly, I get why people do it. One, it gives you peace of mind that nobody has to go after your boyfriend for anything. And two, well, I'll be real. There's a reason why there's so many bisexual single streamers, and that's because streamers want you to fall in love with them and think that you're going to be in a relationship with them. It's pathetic. It feeds on parasocialism, and let's be real, it's not going anywhere. It's been like this since COVID-19, and it'll continue to be here when COVID 2025 comes out. As of yesterday, he is no longer working with me, and I have not extensively discussed any of this with him. Where our personal situation goes from here and will be figured out between us privately. Where our personal situation goes from here will be figured out between us privately. I never intended to mention this publicly, but given that the claims are out there, I want everyone to know I'm taking this seriously. After years of working on everything together, his hyper-business-oriented outlook warped my view of what it is I should be doing and what should be important to me as I navigate this career path. Okay. This screams attempting to use your partner as a scapegoat. Cinder, to my knowledge, is a grown-ass woman. This, to me, screams insincerity. This, to me, screams I'm looking for a scapegoat. We're going to write this down. This can be fixed if she addresses her own wrongdoings later. Cinder's documents, major takeaways. Redacted is confirmed to be manager. Cinder claims that Redacted warped her POV to be much more shark-like business minded. Great. Let's keep going here. I have a terrible work-life balance as it is, and being around projects and streams all day, every day made me lose sight of the point. It took all of this happening for me to realize that this behavior isn't normal or healthy, and it's not an outlook I want to have. This doesn't absolve me of the things I've willingly done and went along with or the way I've treated people who are fully undeserving. It absolutely doesn't. It absolutely doesn't absolve you of anything. Yes. Yeah. Gives an attempt at an apology and takes some accountability. Speculation seems like she's trying to throw Red under the bus and feign ignorance. Let's continue here. This is already looking really bad in my opinion, guys. All right. In regards to Nanolis, for the majority of time working with her, Red was the one almost solely doing communication about new plans and negotiations through his private DMs. Nano had a project server we were all a part of where the actual art and models were worked on, but the conversations were focused around the work itself. I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over Nano's commission decisions, and I should have been more diligent in my oversight. Cinder claims she was ignorant to the full extent of Red's manipulation on Nano. I don't know about that, guys. Every time I had been told that Nano had agreed to work on a new commission with me, it had been willingly and with excitement. From my point of view, it was that she genuinely wanted to be working on these things. I wanted to work with Nano as much as I possibly could, making her the art and face of my brand. We had come to the conclusion that it'd be in my best interest to talk with Nano about making more time for my project by negotiating with her to cut the other work. This was wrong for us to push on to her, and it was wrong to the other creators who wanted the chance of working with her. There was only one specific creator we were responsible for naming and pressuring Nano to contribute concerning projects with, not an entire list. Of her own volition, Nano canceled a large portion of her model. Okay, let's see this. Cinder claims that they were responsible for only canceling one Vtuber's works premeditatedly. Meditatedly. How do you spell meditatively? What is premeditated? Okay, that's fine. Let's keep going here. Of her own volition, Nano canceled a large portion of her model commissions last September. However, the claim that I was just using her is wrong. I've always treated Nano with respect and as my friend. I did give her a lot of work. We did everything we could to accommodate her schedule if she needed more time or break, and even helped her with her own project and payments multiple times. I've invited her on my stream. I've sent her my merch and things she's made for me, and I was always open to talking about her things outside of her projects. In the instances, we would message each other. Regarding the exclusivity deal made between them, I had no part of the direct negotiation of their eventual agreement, and I had no knowledge of Bao and Cotton being included in this list. If I had known my friends were included, I would have said something to put a stop to it. I was only aware of it being about one person I was unfairly pursuing. Guys, this is kind of stinky. Yep, I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of stinky. This has no accountability written over this. This sounds like she's trying very hard to be the victim in this. This does not look good. This does not look good. Yeah, this is looking quite bad. When Nano had messaged me about this agreement about a month later, I was under the assumption that this was only about Silvervale. I was upset, and my initial messages to her were very guilt-trippy, but I wasn't going to force Nano to do anything she wasn't okay with, and tried reassuring her that I was okay with her decision. Nano had also never come to me as seriously and professionally as her document was looking to address the issues she had with either of us or to terminate our partnership. Then show the DMs. If you said that there's messages of this, then show the DMs then. Note, there has been 0 DMs or screenshots included in the entire document. I had no idea there was even a conversation about Shy Lily recently between Red and Nano until reading her document. It's true I had confided in Red that lately I hadn't been hearing from Lily like I had in the past and was worried something was wrong, but that's as far as it went. And he took it upon himself to try digging for more info, and I was never even aware Nano was even ever planning to work on a model for my other friends. Giddy, I do not condone anything about what Red said about Bao in these DMs either, and him using we and our in this context is abhorrently incorrect, and I believe was done to gain greater credibility behind what he was saying. Cinder says she had now even less of an idea of what Red was communicating, even though there were screenshots of her admitting that she did. All I'm saying is there are screenshots that are already out that have said that she knows exactly what is being happened. This is screaming stinky, guys. Yes, Red and I were initially upset when Bao hired my editor, and I took it personally when I shouldn't have. I felt as if my content wasn't good enough, or like I wasn't paying enough for his work, but I accepted it, and I was happy for him for getting that bag and supporting one of my friends at the same time. And yes, I was also upset when Sack, the Boss Rush MV editor, had told us that he won't be working on any future projects with us and instead be working exclusively for Bao. But Red got in his head that it was Bao's fault that it happened, and seemingly held a grudge for it. He was very passionate about Boss Rush and the potential future projects around it, but he told me without an MV editor as talented as Sack, the future projects wouldn't reach the same heights. So he created this headcanon that's laid out in those DMs. I wasn't convinced this was the case, but it's my fault for never speaking with Bao about these things directly to clear things up and letting it spiral to the point it got to. Admits she was jealous and upset with Bao over the editor debacle. Let's keep going here. Every comment here about her own music, guilt-tripping, and claims about her shared feelings towards her are disgusting, and I honestly don't know why he thought this way about my close friend beyond the resentment over those two things, or why it was worth sabotaging over. The "it's just business" screenshot of my DMs with Nano's document in November of 2023, and I'll go into the thought process of everything I said here. What Red was trying to explain to Nano is that if everyone has a model by her, then the innate value of her models overall are diminished by there being an oversaturated of that type of model out there. If everyone in the world had a Vtuber model done by her, then the value of her having the model would be the same as if there were only a handful of them, which he viewed as a negative for me. I understand where he was coming from, but in the Vtuber space, this isn't something we should have pursued. Nano has an amazing skill where she's able to draw each of her Vtuber children uniquely, so I was never upset about seeing the new model siblings. In many cases, I was there cheering them on at their debuts and looking to collab with them as sisters when it could. Me saying "it's just business" was referring to my acceptance of Nano's business decisions, whether she chose to work with me or not. Cinder claims the "it's just business" screenshot was horribly misinterpreted and that she meant that Nano was free to do whatever she wanted. I mean, we're tripling down here, boys. Like this is a bona fide triple down. This is actually insane. I mean, I'm trying to get my personal feelings out of this. Let me save that for the end. Let's just go over the facts of what she herself has admitted and see what she is also claiming. Okay. This was not in reference to anyone's model being canceled. Further explained to her that it's okay if she chooses not to work with me. I can understand where the next part can sound manipulative, but my intention was to reminisce about the journey we had together up to this point. But at this time, I wasn't sure if this is where Nano and I should stop working together as frequently as we had been, and I have to look for a new model artist. I then encouraged her to work on projects she decided about while I talked to Red about finding projects that work with her schedule. When talking about Silvervale, I need to start at the beginning. Before I was Cinder, I was a pink cherry blossom girl named Tashi that did ASMR content. When the Vtuber boom happened in 2020, COVID-19, I knew I wanted to join in. Red and I contacted an artist in October, and they were set to start my Vtuber design in December. The plan was to take my cherry blossom persona Tashi and make her a pink-white wolf girl Vtuber. In November of that same year, Silvervale revealed her Sakura wolf design. I had heard of Silvervale earlier that year, but I didn't watch her streams at all. We knew we had to pivot before we were stuck with a design that would just be a copy of one of the most popular VTubers at the time. Like I've explained many times in my stream, I knew I wanted to be a wolf girl, so I mixed my love of okami and metal music into the design and came out with a hellhound. My name was originally going to be Ember, but Red came up with the name Cinder since it was a mix of Sin plus Cinder. Okay? Both hell and fire themed. It was only a coincidence that it ended up being similar to Silver. I was genuinely interested in pursuing it. I think that's fine. I don't even know where the fuck this even comes from. Cinder claims that the name Cinder was a mix of Sin plus Cinder, thought of by Red, not an attempt to copy or sound like Silver, though I'm not sure who asked. All right, cool. I was genuinely interested in pursuing a friendship with her and drew fan art of myself together. On the other hand, Red was in my ear the whole time saying how great working together would be, since again, he's been the business-oriented side of my brand. Since I started streaming, I have been ruthlessly compared to Silvervale, being called the discount version of her. I was accused of copying her design, copying her personality, even copying her laugh of all things. And there was a large number of people who were diehard believers in the fact that I stole all these attributes maliciously of my own gain, citing the art I posted of her together and inspiration, when in reality this was referring to the decision to become a hellhound. The only time Silvervale was mentioned in the original designing my character was when we explained why we were pivoting to something else, and there was no references of her character involved. I grew more and more resentful over Silver over time. Between the constant belittling of myself, a controversy around my waifu co, and other incidents, even though she herself never interacted with me directly. Admits that she has a grudge towards Silvervale after the constant comparisons made by the community. And it was also that fact that made me insecure. Like, I wanted to know if she believed all these things or not, if it really felt as if she didn't like that I even existed in the same space. So at the point I was working with Nano, consistently we brought up not making any more models of her. If a Vtuber model is how everyone recognizes you, then it'd be harder to compare us directly if we no longer look alike or have that shared similarity. It was a wrong and selfish decision, but it made me feel better, and that's why it was a constant topic with Nano. Red pushed for this harder than I ever did because he knew how it affected me for years, but no matter what the outcome was, I wasn't going to walk away with working with Nano. Silver was completely undeserving of this treatment, and it was my own insecurities that led me to make this choice. I became unapologetically evil towards her due to no direct action of her own. There's no excuse for any of this. Apologizes to Silvervale for treating her so harshly and trying to ruin her business or deals with Nano. Says that Silver didn't deserve that at all. Finally, some accountability. Moving on from Silvervale, let me talk about Spite. Once again, I had no involvement or knowledge of Red bringing up Spite to Nano in 2023. My only personal involvement with excluding someone specific from working with Nano was Silver. My design sheet and outfit were finished and made public at the very start of 2021. The first thing she mentions is a debut teaser in 2022 that was apparently posted the same day as her original debut, which I honestly don't know at the time was intentional or not. I don't know when I first discovered Spite, and it could have been after she debuted. When I first debuted, I was very possessive of my design details. I had made it a year and a half since my design sheet was finished and public to having a full VTuber debut. I watched everything grow and change from the sidelines, and I didn't want anyone else to capitalize on my concept before I could. Soon after my original debut, I remember Spite getting an update to her model that made it seem like she more closely resembled me, including fire added to her model. Without evidence, I saw it and thought she must have copied me, but I never did anything about it other than voice my frustrations to Red. I didn't want to start drama with anyone, and I didn't want to have ownership over a fire design as a design detail. The references for the ripped shirt and shorts outfit on my bikini model was given to Nano in June of 2022 with the purpose of having a cover-up outfit that would be safe for Twitch. The merch art she's referring to was designed on my concept with my fire changing blue. The fact that the rest of the art was grayscale was the artist's choice since it was going on the back of a hoodie. And I didn't have a say, or at least I didn't have a counter being that final decision. There was no intent to deliberately look like Spite with this piece. Unfortunately, both my Angel and Sleepy outfits being similar to outfit Spite has done in the past was just a coincidence. Claims that the outfit similarity with Spite are merely just a coincidence. Man, 4 coincidences in a row, man. Man, that's pretty unlucky, huh? Yeah, that is pretty unlucky. No screenshots, no dates of this, by the way. Claims that she had all of those outfit ideas before Spite. No proof or screenshots shown at all. Okay. I had always planned to one day make an Angel counterpart to my Demon outfit when it was being made in 2023, and my original reference sheet laid the groundwork for that idea. I've never liked theming anything around my brand in a religious light, so I chose to make an Angel form more Greek or Valkyrie than biblical. I wonder if Cinder realizes that demons are also biblical, and they're also religious. I wonder if she gets that. Which also gives it a similar look to my demon form. The Sleepy outfit was a last-minute decision to pivot from fully new 3.0 model because I had the opportunity to work with gamer subs on an AFK flavor. Spite never should have received the hate comments on her outfit or any comments comparing us or belittling her because of my existence, and I never advocated for anyone to do so, especially given my experience. Says that Spite doesn't deserve the hate she gets for merely looking like. Spite also brought up another creator who reached out to her about the experience with me, and I can only assume it's Nyantails. No idea who this is. They are an ASMR artist who at one point posted a Hellhound OC for one of their upcoming ASMR videos, and it was undoubtedly created using me as a reference. This was right after my debut, and like I said, I was very protective of my design elements being unique to me, and I overreacted. Shortly after, I apologized, and they agreed to adjust the character design, and I thought the matter was settled. At the very start of my online career, I was GFE ASM artist. Before I started my own channel, I had gotten to listening to roleplay audios myself. I had always been a shut-in throughout high school and college. I wasn't happy with my life and relationship were at the time. After uploading my few audios, my channel started growing fast. This was the first time I was inundated with so many people wanting to know and talk to me. And I got lost in the excitement of it all, not fully coming to terms with the messages because these kind of content I was making. I was immature and inexperienced how to conduct myself online. I never had any IRL friends, and I met Rain doing ASMR. I quickly became comfortable chattering with him about everything, divulging my grievances about my personal life when I shouldn't have. I cheated on my boyfriend with Rain in these conversations, flirting and sexting. Cinder admits fully to being a cheater, betraying her boyfriend's trust with Red. Cinder claims these misactions were due to being young and having no friends. Oh, Jesus. I used Rain for emotional comfort and sexual fantasy while I let my real life relationship collapse. It was about my dissatisfaction with my personal life, escaping into messages with someone else who I found through content focused around GF and BFRP. It was never about climbing the ladder with Rain, and I find that being his takeaway from why I moved on baffling. By the time I was ready to debut as Cinder, I wanted to leave that in the past. Still to this day, I regret my decision. I've been living with it since, and I was lucky to be able to mend my relationship after this. And lastly, I want to address... Wait. So is Red the same boyfriend that she cheated on? Let me read that again. Imagine with someone else who I found through content creation, GFBFRP. Is never climbed the ladder with Ryan, and I find being his takeaway from why I moved on baffling. By the time I was ready to debut as Cinder, I want to leave that in the past. Still to this day, I regret my decisions and living with it since, and I was lucky to be able to mend my relationship after this. Seems that Red was the boyfriend that got cheated on, yet no direct confirmation. Potential cucking may have occurred. Okay. Red is redacted. It's in the name. Yeah, I know. I don't want to write that. That's too much. Okay. And lastly, I want to address Peaches. There's a very big problem I have, and I'm sure many other positions might do too. At the end of the day, I am one person. I am one person working on multiple projects with multiple companies, talking to dozens of people, and streaming for hours almost every day. I've never had a big social battery, and I get tired very easily when interacting with people. I haven't had very much energy at all over the past year, leading to me taking frequent naps. I've really been able to keep up with the closest handful of friends on a frequent basis, let alone everyone else. Red has always been a big help in keeping up with things, but he doesn't do everything. I'm sorry I made you feel forgotten, Peaches. I've always cherished your friendship, and I was so excited to meet you in Paris. I'm so grateful for everything you've done for me, and I've never thought to purposely drop you just because I could. I'm sorry. I know I've made fun of people feel forgotten or ignored. It's so easy to get caught up in projects or what I'm doing. Well, I have the energy to do it. That people fall by the wayside. I understand the feelings of those who resonate with this, and all I can say is sorry. Apologizes to Peaches for forgetting about them. Claims they got busy with content creation. And I don't deserve to be able to contact everyone involved directly to personally apologize, so I'll do it here in case they read it. Okay, here we go. Nano, I'm so sorry. I let the things get to this point. Put this down. Personal apology. Hold up. Cinder wrote a personal apology to every person involved. Nano, Bow, Sack, Cotton, Lily, Silver, Spite, Peaches, Rain, and her community. Okay. I'm so sorry I let this lead to a point or even entertain the thought of you working exclusively with me. That's not fair to you. I wouldn't be here without you, and I wouldn't have been able to do most of what I've already done without you. I felt overly attached to our relationship over the past 4 years and loved your work so much that I wanted to make myself exclusive to your art. I should have never sought those feelings to be reciprocated. Everything you've ever worked on for me was always so perfect, and I lost sight of how everyone else around me would have felt. I have no intention of pressing you into anything, but looking back on my cloud of judgment, I can see how my messages felt that way. When I talked about how models helped you improve, I meant that as looking back on your own far we've come together. We've been friends for so long and cheered each other when we both started growing and getting more opportunities like plushies, figures, etc. You had been my exclusive artist for full live 2D models for the majority of my time as a VTuber, and of course I would have been sad if you didn't want to continue that relationship. But in all of our other private DMs, I was okay with you ultimately doing what was best for yourself. I saw you as someone I trusted and loved to work with and wanted to make sure you were still taking care of yourself with all the projects you took on, mine or otherwise. I never saw you as just a business partner. I thought it was reassuring that I'd always be understanding if you wanted to move on to other projects. I genuinely appreciate our friendship. I always saw you as a close friend. I'm sorry for what I put you through. Okay. To Bao, since the start, I've always admired you, how genuine you've always been to everyone. Bao's fucking nuts. And I love that about her. I wouldn't be here without you, either I'm discussing with myself or buying into the narrative that my friends were competition. I've never had such genuine friendships in my life, especially with you. We've gotten to know each other so well online and in person. You've already been through so much, and the last thing I want to do is cause more harm. But I did. I'm sorry for not reaching out sooner about these ideas that were put into my head. I wish we would have been able to talk about this too. I didn't know about the severity of things that had been said and theorized by my own friends behind my back until now. It's my fault for not realizing the things Red was saying about you. The countless friendships I've made here within the last several years mean so much more to me than him and the business side of things. And his way of thinking. No amount of popularity or money means more to me than relationships. I've built in this community. I've always been myself, whether that be a streamer or in person. And I hope the friends I make can understand that I've never condoned this behavior and any of the things that were said about my friends. I've always wanted everyone around me to thrive and find happiness. I can't just know how disappointed I am that I didn't see this sooner until it got to a breaking point. I'm sorry, Bao. This is a zero accountability post. Like, straight up. Like, this is a zero accountability post. There's no way this much shit happens and you don't know about it. This is so stinky. Like, legit. Why are you guys sorry for Red? He's also a piece of shit? Oh, I don't feel sorry for him at all. Yeah, I'm gonna be real, man. Like, I don't feel sorry for him at all. I don't care. Yeah, straight up. Yep. I don't care at all. Zero. I don't give a fuck. To Sack, I love beginning to chat with you in person. Absolutely loved all the hard work you put into the Boss Rush song. I was so grateful to hear you were on board to edit the MV. I don't remember exactly why the stream got pushed back, but I definitely wouldn't have put the blame on you knowing about how soon the deadline was when you started working on it. I was so thankful for your willingness to complete the project despite everything, and how the quality of it turned out was incredible. I can't believe how Red talked about you, especially after all the effort you put in for me. I'm so sorry for everything that happened. To Cotton and Lily, I'm sorry you had to get dragged into this. It's my fault. I let it get this far, but I hope you can believe me when I say I had no knowledge of Red bringing you into Nano's DMs. I just learned about all this myself, and there could have been so many other friends affected by this narrative, and the things have always had to be competitive. If I knew Red was trying to exclude specific friends in this exclusivity deal, I would have spoken up. None of my friendships are worth sacrificing over an art piece. I loved being your friend and all the memories we've shared, and I hope someday you can forgive me for allowing this to happen. To Silver, since the start, I love that I saw someone else sharing so many similars and interests to me, and I thought maybe someday we could talk about it and all be good friends. I was blinded by all these hate comments around me calling you my lesser half, or calling me your lesser half. I hate the person I've become towards you. I tried reaching out some time ago to start up a friendly conversation to change things up and make things right, say hi to you at conventions and support your endeavors, but despite all that, I was still being eaten alive by my own doubts or fear or harassment. I was pressured by my community as a whole to try reaching out to collaborate since I got these messages so often comparing us, and I hope we can work something out. The photo of me at the meet and greet was taken candidly, and I thought it looked so cute. And I posted without asking you to ask me, which was so wrong of me. I was so wrong for letting everyone get in my head about all these malicious feelings. I'm sorry for any opportunities I've taken away from you. I'm sorry, Silver. To Spite, I'm sorry I assumed your things or your design that wasn't true. And I'm sorry you've been harassed by commenters needing to compare us. And I apologize for the way Red spoke about you to Nano. You didn't deserve any of this, Spite. I'm sorry. To Peaches, I'm sorry if I made it seem like I was ignoring you or ghosting you. I was so happy we had the opportunity to meet in person, and I was apologetic with how busy things were for me at the time. I wanted to spend more time with you, but as I got more and more DMs, messages, everything became so overwhelming. I've always had a low social battery that made it so hard for me to keep up to date with all my friends. I've never had any ill feelings towards you, and I still don't. To Rain, you were the first person I met as an ASM artist during a time where I was immature and vulnerable. I ended up being consumed by the content I was making, and it led me to making an awful decision I still think about and regret. I was not in a good spot at the time. I've hated myself for this kind of behavior, and it took a very long time for me to move on from what happened. I have no excuses. I'm sorry you were dragged into the drama, and I'm sorry how I made you feel after I just wanted to close the book on things. Final apology. I'm sorry to my pyro pups and my mods for expecting me to lead by example better than this. I'm sorry to the VTuber community for looking towards me as someone to aspire to. I'm sorry to Kaiser, who's put his heart and soul into everything he's ever done for me, and he's not even talking to you about how I felt. I'm sorry to the dozens of artists that put their hard work into me, and I'm sorry for the rest of my friends who I've let down. I've led a bad example, and I don't expect forgiveness. I've made many mistakes in my 5 years on the internet, and I'm only one person, living the one life I get for the first and only time, like everyone else. As I said at the start, I ended up developing an extremely unhealthy work-life balance, and the harm Red has caused with the way he viewed things as irreparable. Oh, Jesus. This was almost such a good apology at the very end. All right. The way I've been perceiving things lately is not how I want to view the world moving forward, and this goes to show there's a lot I need to address and improve if I can continue being a creator. I'm devastated that the friendship so special to me may, understandably, never be mended again. I love my job and all the friends I've had. Thank you for reading, Cinder. Okay. That's the whole document. Yeah. I think we got all of the major takeaways. Here's where I get to talk about how I feel. First of all, Cinder, if we ever bump into each other at a con, or if you ever want to DM me, I don't care. I want to make that very clear. I don't care. If you want to come play golf with friends, sure. I don't care. But a great talk that I think you need to understand is how to take accountability. This whole apology, this whole note really screams feigning accountability. And this, in the VTuber space, is completely going to blow up in your face. I cannot foresee the comments going well to this. I cannot. This screams that you are trying to shift the blame off to your boyfriend so fucking bad. And I really think you should have taken full accountability for your actions. Maybe made a little note at the beginning, but at some point, every time you went to apologize, you would say, but it was because of my boyfriend. But it was because of my trauma. And at a certain point, you just got to acknowledge that you were incredibly backstabby and business-minded. Now, I'll be real. I'm friends with some of the worst people on the internet. I don't care. I'll be real, Cinder. I got 8 friends worse than you in my close circle. I don't give a fuck. Bro, I'm like close friends with a fucking drug dealer. I don't care. Right? Because people are people, and as long as you're fun, I don't care. But this type of reputation in the VTubing space, I think you're fucked. Straight up. You'll probably be okay, but I doubt we're going to be in any collabs with any of these people that you fucked over in this document. And to be completely honest, I don't think your apologies were good enough. I don't. You provided no screenshots, no proof, no text on anything that you yourself said that you had. And I don't think that's a good look. And these weren't screenshots or DMs of like any graphic or intimate detail. These were very easily shareable screenshots. That's my opinion. Cinder, I do think for your own good, I do think you need to change and grow as a person. But yeah, this was a rough read. We'll see how the internet takes it. And why don't we give that a little look right now? Let's see. Top comment was, dude, fuck off. I fucking love Buff Pup. Yep. That was the end of the document. My personal thoughts, if you care. This document was a horrible attempt at an apology. Very little to zero true accountability taken. This was a horrible attempt at throwing her boyfriend under the bus for their both shared issues they've caused, which I predicted would be the direction of this document. This whole ordeal makes me quite sad, knowing how many people felt hurt by this, and I don't believe anyone is going to approve or enjoy reading this whatsoever. Sad. Great. Summarized it, kept biases out until the personal feeling section at the end for anyone too lazy to read. Now let's read these. This post was kind of stinky. Kind of a bummer. And that's me being so nice. That's me being so nice. I am holding back tremendously. That is me holding back so much. Yeah, hopefully this helps make everybody kind of get informed. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. That's a short little 42-minute breakdown. I appreciate all you guys for all the new like, comment, and subscribers who have joined my channel. If there's any updates on this, any new proof, any changes, I will always cover that, as well as pretty much any bullshit going on down the scenes in the old Twitterverse. Appreciate y'all. Catch you on the next one. Sender, feel free to hit me up if you want to have a call live on stream. See ya.